Hello everybody, and today I want to speak on the King of Elflands' daughter, race, multiculturalism, and the fantasy novel that dare not speak its name. So this was a novel that influenced both Tolkien and Lovecraft. It's about an Anglo-Saxon king who on his deathbed promises his kingdom of El that he will grant their request to be ruled by a magic lord. He sends his son Prince Elfric to kidnap from Elfland, the Elf King's daughter, the Elf Princess Lirizel of the Magic Line. Elfric completes his mission with the help of Zerundrel, a wise woman, or witch, banished from El for witchcraft, and upon returning, finds the king dead. Thus he marries Lirizel and becomes king, but loses her soon after his heir is born, and spends the rest of his reign trying in vain to get her back, abandoning El to its inevitable destruction by invading fairy forces. It's a story that reveals revealing parallels to our own world. It's a parable of thirst for power and how sacrifices must be made to maintain that power. So what's quite interesting is that we have to sort of look into the background of this because we've all heard of George R.R. Martin's stories. Of course, we've all heard of Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, all that stuff. Very rarely do you ever come upon any mention of Lord Dunsany's The King of Elfland's daughter. And to look at this, you have to sort of look back at sort of what it was like when he wrote it. It was written in the early 1920s, just after the World War One had ended. World War One was a time that saw Britain completely change. British people came back to a lot of poverty. They questioned the motives for this war. They desperately felt that the country had to go into a quite new direction. And it's fascinating that Lord Dunsany essentially sees a world very like his own, but at the same time it's driven forward into a future that is very like the one we have now. Most fantasy fiction likes to look back to the past. It's like it's an imagined past. It's not genuine, but it's a past that we kind of wish we'd escape modernity to. What's uncomfortable, I think, for most modern readers is the fact that the King of Elfland's daughter doesn't do that. It embraces modernity. The world that the Princess Lirizel comes from, though it's a very otherworldly fairy tale place, it is also a place that seems to represent a place that previous generations of our people wanted to go to, not leave. It's a novel about, to a certain extent, race, multicultural fears and integration, and has become an uncomfortable subject in a modern age. and as a result, it has been very sidelined. That is how I believe it ended up the way it has, as a very marginalised piece of cult literature. And I think it needs to be studied as a very interesting and important text that reveals so much about the age in which it was written, rather than about imagined escapist realities. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you did.